वनचारी। जयो राध माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुनतीरावनचारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय श्री योगधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Today morning we are discussing from 7th chapter, 7th canto, 11th chapter, 21st verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। 21st श्लोक। शमोदमस्तपःशौचं सन्तोष क्षान्तिराजवम् ज्ञानं दयाच्युतात्मत्वं सत्यं च ब्रह्मलक्षणम्। शमोदमस्तपःशौचं सन्तोषः क्षान्तिराजवम् ज्ञानं दयाच्युतात्मत्वं सत्यं च ब्रह्मलक्षणम्। शमोदमस्तपःशौचं सन्तोषः क्षान्तिराजवम् ज्ञानं दयाच्युतात्मत्वं सत्यं च ब्रह्मलक्षणम्। शमोदमस्तपःशौचं सन्तोषः क्षान्तिराजवम् ज्ञानं दयाच्युतात्मत्वं सत्यं च ब्रह्मलक्षणम्। शमोदमस्तपःशौचं सन्तोषक्षान्तिरार्जवम् ज्ञानं दयाच्युतात्मत्वम् सत्यं च ब्रह्मलक्ष्मणम् शमोदमस्तपःशौचम् सन्तोषक्षान्तिरार्जवम् ज्ञानं दयाच्युतात्मत्वम् सत्यं च ब्रह्मलक्षणम् माताजी शमोदमस्तपःशौचम् सन्तोषक्षान्तिरार्जवम् ज्ञानं दयाच्युतात्मत्वम् सत्यं च ब्रह्मलक्षणम् word to word meaning shama control of the mind, dama control of the senses, tapa austerity and penance, shaucham cleanliness, santosha satisfaction, kshanti forgiveness, being unagitated by anger, arjavam simplicity, jnanam knowledge, daya mercy, achyuta atmatvam accepting oneself as an eternal servant of the Lord, satyam truthfulness, cha also brahma lakshanam the symptoms of a brahmana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The symptoms of a brahmana are control of the mind, control of the senses, austerity and penance, cleanliness, satisfaction, forgiveness, simplicity, knowledge, mercy, truthfulness, and complete surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the institution of Varnashrama Dharma, the symptoms of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Gruhastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi are all described. The ultimate aim is Achyuta Atmatvam, to think always of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or Vishnu. To make advancement in Krishna consciousness, one has to become a Brahmana with the above mentioned symptoms. So next three verses are also there. So maybe we'll discuss them in the course of our discussion. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनीश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। वेलकम एवरीवन। I seek blessings of all the devotees and speak about something related to this for my purification and for the benefit of all. So this chapter, 7th canto, first 10 chapters, they described about the Narad Munis, like the Prahlad Maharaja's glories, Hiranyakashipu's atrocities, and how Narsimdeva appeared and killed him. So having heard these great activities of Prahlad Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking Narada Muni again some questions which is related to Varnashrama. So, like next, these 11 to 15 chapters, they discuss about Varnashrama Dharma. So, that is what being in the context. Right? So, now, if you see the bhakti of Prahlad Maharaj, it is bhakti without any mixture of gunas. So, now this Varnashrama, it is like there are three processes mentioned by Krishna which will give perfection. Mm. Jnana, karma, and bhakti. So jnana yoga, karma yoga, and bhakti yoga. So karma yoga is nishkama karma yoga. So only by these following these three processes one will achieve ultimate benefit. Otherwise, there is no way of benefiting. No way one can progress in spiritual life. So there are various qualifications for various processes. Mm. Krishna says, Nirvinnanam Jnana Yoga. For persons who are completely detached by practice of Nishkama Karma Yoga, he is eligible to practice Jnana Yoga. And if one is attached, he needs to follow Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is Karma Yoga. But Yadruchaya Matkatado Jata Shraddhastu Yahpuman Nanirvinno Natisakto Bhakti Yogosya Siddhidaha. By some good fortune of some great devotee, if he has attained the Shraddha for Bhakti, he can practice Bhakti. Right? So these are the different qualifications for different persons to practice Bhakti, practice different processes. So based on one's qualification, one will follow one of these processes. So here, this Varnashram Dharma is being uh, like people who has this like material desires. There is a system where they can they can be following this Varnashram Dharma and follow karma yoga, Nishkam karma yoga. So this is like this Nishkam karma yoga, which has bhakti in its element. By following these duties and performing this bhakti, so then they will progress in their path. So that is being described as Varnashrama Dharma. So Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking, I want to hear about the eternal Dharma, which is Bhakti Yoga, and also I want to hear about Varnashrama Dharma, by which a person will advance us towards the Supreme. So when Yudhishthir Maharaj asked, he is especially asking Narada Muni, because he is saying that you are directly the son of Brahma and best of all the people, because you have, by your samadhi, by your yoga, you have achieved the best perfection. And among all the other people, you are completely dedicated to Narayana. So therefore, you know the secret of Dharma, and others they don't know. So therefore, I am asking you, please narrate about this dharmas. So like that, he asked. So Narada Muni, while replying about this Varnashrama Dharma, he is mentioning that first I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Lord, who is protecting all the dharmas of the living entities. And I will explain both this Sanatan Dharma, which is Bhakti Yoga, from which I have heard from Lord Narayana. I have heard from Lord Narayana this. So this Narayana is who is residing in Badrikashram, Naranarayana Rishis. They are the instructors to Narada Muni. In Narada Muni, in fifth canto also, if we see, in Bharatavarsha, he is offering his prayers to Naranarayana Rishi. So that Narayana Rishi, Naranarayana Rishi, they have given this knowledge, and I will speak about that knowledge. So he's saying that Naranarayana, these persons, they are born from Murti, and Dharma is his father, Murti is his mother. From there they have born. They are executing tapasya and Badrikashram for all the benefit of all the living entities. Then he defines what is the root of Dharma, Narad Muni. He says, Dharma moolam hi Bhagavan sarva veda mayo hari smrutam cha tadvidam rajan yena chatma prasidati. So, for uh, the root of all dharma is the Lord. Hmm. So he is Dharma Moolam Hi Bhagavan. He is the because he is the essence of all the Vedas. And he is also the Smriti scriptures also. Means all the Vedas as well as Smriti scriptures, everything is coming from him only. And the root of all these scriptures is the Lord only. And by following this dharma, this bhakti, then only the Atma is completely pleased. The mind is pleased. Yena chatma prasidati. Right? So means the scriptures which recommend the worship of the Lord, they are the like those they are all coming from the Lord only, and that is the ultimate. The Lord is the root of all these scriptures, and by that dharma the mind is pleased, right? Save pumso paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshaje ahetuki apratihata yatma suprasidati. The principle of pure bhakti, the mind is completely satisfied. When it is mixed with karma and other processes, the mind is not so much pleased, just like pure bhakti as much as that much pleases. So in this way, bhakti process Narada Muni is defining. But others, they have defined dharmas in various other ways. They have defined dharmas in root of dharma in different ways, but they are not the ultimate. But Narada Muni is uh, he is well aware of all the essence of all dharmas, and he has defined the root of all dharma as the worship of the Lord. So then he gave different general principles to be followed by all human beings. And then finally, he gave the principles of bhakti, like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. So, all those 9 processes of devotional service by which people, the Lord is satisfied. This is the highest dharma for the people. Mm. All general qualities, all these general qualities, they will assist in the bhakti, and the direct process of Shravana, Kirtana, all these direct processes, they will they will ultimately satisfy the Lord as well as the living entities. So this is the real dharma he has mentioned. So after mentioning that, now uh, he starts describing about Varnashrama Dharma, where in today's verse we are seeing. So in Varnashrama Dharma, like he says that there are this Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, uh, all these four ashramas, four varnas, they should follow the principles given to them according to their gunas. So he describes samskara. If someone has not performed samskaras, so they should perform these samskaras, then they are called as dvijas. So by their behavior, whoever is performing these samskaras, by their behavior, they should follow, like brahmanas. They have duties of six duties that are mentioned. So they should worship the Lord Ishta, and the Ijya and Adhyayana. They should study the scriptures and give charity. So these are the three duties, and also accepting charity and like studying and teaching. And also worshipping and teaching worship. Total there are six occupations for the Brahmana. So each six occupational duties for Brahmanas, and for Kshatriya, all these like all out of them, they should never accept charity, but he may perform other five duties. But Kshatriya, how will he gain his income? He gives protection, and so he can levy taxes, or he gives protection, and that person by that because of that protection, he can he can collect taxes, fines, or custom duty. So all this, by this he can earn his livelihood. So this is the Kshatriyas. And for Vaishyas, they engage in occupational duties under the direction of Brahmanas. So, and the Krushi, Gorajja, Vanikya. Shudras, they serve all the other varnas, and so that livelihood, they whatever they provide, from that they will live. So in this way, the livelihood of different people, they are mentioned. And especially brahmanas, they are for them livelihood, there are various ways that are mentioned. He may receive something without begging, or he may beg for one particular day, or he may not beg but go to a field, and whatever is left he can collect, or he can go to a market, and if some things are fell down, he can collect. So without begging is considered more advanced. Begging is considered little less. So in this way, there are different ways are there apart from the other alternative, yadan, yajan, yajan, apart from teaching, worshipping. So these are other alternatives that are given. So then, so in emergencies, they can accept the duties, they can accept other duties, except it is mentioned that uh, Kshatriya should never take charity. That is again mentioned. And also, it is mentioned that Brahmanas can accept various types of provisions, but they should never accept the profession of a uh, kind of dog, means doing service to the lower persons. Prabhupada quotes the example of like when Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, previous to that, they are serving these Yavanas, they are considered fallen. In that sense, he says. So one should never accept the service of the low persons. So that is mentioned. So in this way, various duties, various employments, various ways how they can get their livelihood. Those are mentioned. So now the qualities by which one can identify different personalities, those are all being mentioned here, right? So these are all qualities of a brahmana: shamo, dama, tapashaucham, santosha, kshanti, rajyavam, jnanam, daya, achyutatmatvam, satyam cha brahma lakshanam. right? So control, similar to what Gita says, like Shamodama Tapashocham, same similar qualities. Gita, Krishna also speak. Mm. So Brahmana means later on, he, Narada Muni also says in this chapter only how to identify, like, is it like a being person born in a particular family or gunas? Yasya lakshanam proktam. So he, Narada Muni says, one should only see the lakshanas in a particular person. If someone exhibits these qualities, then he is considered as a Brahmana. Right? Yasya yal lakshanam proktam pumso varnabhi vyanjakam yadanatrapi drishyeta tatteneva viniddishet. Anyone showing the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, yasya yal lakshanam proktam, then pumso varnabhi vyanjakam, he is designated as that particular varna, even if he is yadanitrapi dursheta. By seeing the symptoms only, one should design it. Right? So that he, Narada Muni is clarifying. So and then these kind of symptoms are mentioned. Right? So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Chaturvannam Maya Chaturvannam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Right? So he especially mentioned as division based on guna and karma. So and that guna and karma, especially the Brahmanas, the guna is mainly sattva guna. Right? That is what these qualities are being mentioned. So, so we are yesterday, like we are discussing Uddhav Gita. So in that there are like some interesting definitions Krishna gave for various terms. Mm. So out of this, these terms also came, some of these terms. Shamo, Dama. Right? So like basically Uddhava, he defined some of the terms. So that time Uddhava asked, please give me the definitions of some of these terms. So then he asks, what is Shama? What is Dama? So like that. So Krishna gives some of these definitions in Uddhav Gita. We will just see some of these definitions, how Krishna is defining. Shama in general, we have seen as control of the mind. Right? Shama is one who is able to control the mind is called as practicing Shama. Right? So Uddhava, Krishna says one more higher level of definition. Shamo manishtata buddher. He says, absorbing the intelligence in me constitutes dharma. If someone's intelligence absorbs in Krishna, so that is actually Shama, he says. Because unless a mind absorbs in Krishna, one will not be able to control his mind. So Krishna is saying that Shamo manishtita buddher. If someone has put his fixing intelligence in Krishna, then he is able to, then he is practicing Shama. Right? Then Dama, Shamo Dama. Dama is Shama is control of the mind. Dama is control of the senses. Right? So Krishna also says same thing. Dama Indriya Samyamaha. He says. Then Tapa. So Tapa, uh, like he, Tapa in general, austerity is the definition, right? So performing austerity. So Krishna says Tapa as Kamatyagas tapasmritam. Someone is able to give up sense gratification, desire to enjoy. So that is actually tapa, right? So austerity in general, uh, real austerity is renunciation of enjoyment. He's saying. Mm. So austerity is performing vows with indifference to enjoyment, such as Ekadashi, Kartik Vrata. So this is like real austerity. Krishna is saying. Santosha, right? Santosha is like being satisfied. So Krishna in Santosha, he like in one definition, he says, "Who is rich man and who is poor man?" That question also Uddhava asks Krishna. Hmm? Adya kova, daridra kova, like that he asks. Who is a rich man and who is a poor man? Krishna says, rich man is one, rich man is one who has good qualities. That person is rich person, he says. Who is a poor man? Poor man, he says, one who is asantushta, right? One who is not satisfied. He is said to be poor man, right? Santosha, right? So Brahmana, the quality is being satisfied. And one who is not satisfied is a uh, he is a poor man. It doesn't define a poor man as having 1 crore rupees or 10,000 rupees. A person who is whatever amount he has, if he is satisfied, he is like a maybe opposite of poor man is rich man. But although he may have crores and crores of rupees, but he is still looking above. Oh, I want to achieve more, then that person is a poor man according to Krishna. Right? So, like Vaman Dev also says, Yavatte Vishya, like Yavanto Vishya Preshta Trilokyam Ajitendriyam Nashaknuvanti Te Sarve Paripurayitum Lupa. Even though a person, if he is not satisfied, even if he attains so many, the whole three worlds things, he will not be satisfied. Mm, right? He wants more. Right? So in general, the tendency, in this world, if we observe some businessmen, they have some hankering to achieve more money, and they will achieve something, but they will have certain goals. I will achieve this thing by this thing, and when they achieve that thing, what will happen? Then he will come to certain stage, certain level, certain status, and then he will start associating with those kind of people. Then like there is more hankering. Oh, I need to associate, I need to get more. Then he will bore. So like that, it always there is a no end for that. So only a person who is satisfied, he is said to be rich man. I mean, if he is not satisfied, he is a poor man. Mm. So santosha, that principle brahmana is applied. So then kshanti, kshanti is kind of defined as uh, forgiveness or being unagitated by anger. One who is not disturbed by the anger or other qualities. So then daya. So daya is charity or showing mercy. So Krishna defines daya or dakshina in interesting way. Dakshina, he says, Krishna, that dakshina jnana sandeshaha. Real charity is giving jnana, right? So that can be like knowledge giving. And Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he gives one more interesting definition of that. What is that jnana sandesha? He says, if we experience some bliss in some kirtan or some utsav, some festival, going to other our friends and telling the experience of that bliss, that is jnana sandesha, he says. That means if we participate in some festival, Nityanand Trayadashi, very nice festival, very nice Katha Maharaj gave and nice Kirtan, Arati, everything happened, and we experienced lot of happiness. And if we share with others, we are sharing our heart. We experienced so much pleasure. So that is like Jnana Sandesha, right? Or if we are sharing in our social media, oh, this nice festival, that is also like, because we experienced happiness and we are sharing. So that is Jnana Sandesha. That is real Dakshina, like that Krishna is saying. Daya. So basically, sometimes we say preaching means if you are experiencing some happiness and if that flows out, that is like preaching. Some people say like that. Right? So that is similar to that Krishna is defining as Daya. Hmm. And then Achyuta Atmatvam. So one of another quality of Brahmana is also mentioned as having absorbing the mind in Vishnu. Mm. So this is like without that element of bhakti, like one is not actually real Brahmana. Mm. So that element of bhakti also should be there. Absorbing the mind in Vishnu. So that is Achyutatmatvam. Then Satyam. Satyam. So Krishna also described this Satyam. Satyam Rutam. Krishna said uh, that Rutam. Rutam means truth, but the truth should be spoken in a pleasing way. Just like in Gita, he said, Anudvegakaram Vakyam Satyam Prihitam Chat. In Uddhav Gita also is saying, speaking truth in a pleasing way. That is actually Rutam, means truth. Anyacha Sundutavani. And Satyam he defines as Satyam cha Samadarshanam. Seeing like others, like Samadarshana means comparing oneself with others and feeling the same way. Satyam cha Samadarshanam. One's happiness and distress equaling to others' happiness or distress. So that is equating at the Satyam. Right? So in this way, he kind of defined. So these are all Brahma Lakshanam. Right? To make advancement in Krishna consciousness, one has to become a Brahmana with the above mentioned symptoms. And Prabhupada is commenting. So the more we acquire these qualities, the more we may progress in Krishna consciousness. So next 22nd shloka, we're going ahead with the Kshatriya qualities. Shauryam, Viryam, Drutisteja, Tyaga, Chatmajaya, Kshama, Brahmanyata, Prasadascha, Satyam cha, Kshatra Lakshanam. Some qualities of Kshatriya are given. Shaurya, power in battle. Virya, being unconquerable. Dhruti, patience. Even in reverses, a Kshatriya is very grave. Teja, ability to defeat others. Tyaga, giving charity. Atmajaya, not being overwhelmed by bodily necessities. Kshama, forgiveness. Brahmanyata, faithfulness to the Brahmanical principles. Prasada, jolliness in any condition of life. Satyam cha, truthfulness. Kshatra Lakshanam, these are the symptoms of a Kshatriya. Right? To be influential in battle, unconquerable, patient, challenging, and charitable. To control the bodily necessities. To be forgiving, to be attached to the Brahmanical nature, and to be always joyful, jolly, and truthful. These are the symptoms of a Kshatriya. Mm. So, Shauryam, power in battle. So, this is one of the quality of Kshatriya, like he is always powerful, like fighting. So, Krishna also defined Shaurya in Uddhav Gita also. Interesting way. Shaurya, Krishna defined Sauryam Swabhava Jaya. Whoever conquers their Swabhava, he is like real Shaurya. Right? So, that is Krishna is saying. So Kshatriya in general he has power, this exhibition. But Krishna, he said, if someone is able to conquer their lower nature of sense gratification, that is real Shaurya. He is saying. Then Viryam is being unconquered, exhibiting lot of valor. So that Kshatriya exhibits. Dhruti. So Dhruti is in general the fortitude or patience or steadiness. So that is kind of described as dhruti, which a a person in Kshatriya should have, or Kshatriya when he has. So Dhruti, they described that. So Krishna also describes Dhruti. Dhruti is Jihvopasta Jayo Dhruti, he says. If someone is able to conquer his tongue and genitals, then he is exhibiting steadfastness. Because unless one conquers this, there is no question of steadiness. So that is Dhruti, Krishna is saying. So then, uh, Shauryam, Viryam, Dhruti, Teja. Teja is ability to defeat others. So conquering others. He has to exhibit, Kshatriya has to exhibit a lot of uh, power and conquer others. Then Atma Jaya, he also, Kshatriya, not only conquering others, he also, some bodily necessities, all those bodily necessities, he should control. Sometimes when they go to battles, there may not be water, food, or anything. So that means all these necessities he should be able to control. Mm. Kshama, also forgiveness is also mentioned for Kshatriyas also. Right? Sometimes he may conquer other enemies, but or he need to punish people, but he needs to consider the situation and also forgive when it is appropriate. And one more important quality for Kshatriya is mentioned as Brahmanyata, friendliness to the Brahmanas. Right? In in describing great qualities of Lord Rama and other great personalities, or Parikshit Maharaj when he was born, he is Brahmanyata, like he gives lot of respect for Brahmanas. Prithu Maharaj, when his qualities are also described, that also there also it is mentioned. And giving respect for Brahmanas, this is a main important quality for Kshatriyas. And Prasada, joyful or being pleased, jolly in any condition of life. Right? So Brahmanas also Santushta is mentioned. And Kshatriyas is also joy, prasada is also mentioned. That means, and one of the qualities in general for Shudras is mentioned as lamentation. Mm. So if someone is always lamenting, that is like mode of ignorance. But if someone is happy, that means in the little higher modes, go mode of goodness and this thing. In general, Kshatriya is said to be in the in between mode of goodness and passion. Mm. So here prasada is also mentioned. And satyam is also, truthfulness is also mentioned for kshatriyas. So these symptoms they will exhibit. Then 23rd shloka, the qualities of a Vaishya are mentioned. Deva Guru Achyute Bhakti Trivarga Pariposhanam Astikyam Nityam Naipunyam Vaishya Lakshanam. Deva Guru Achyute Bhakti. So they have to show reverence or devotion towards Devatas, Guru, and Vishnu. Right? So Vishnu is always center for everyone or all the Varnas, because it is mentioned that uh, the Vishnu is the origin for all the Varnas. If someone doesn't worship Vishnu, he will fall down from his position. Yesham Purusham Sakshat Atma Prabhavameshwaraha Na Bhajanti Avijananti Sthanachutaha. If the Lord is the origin of everyone, and if someone doesn't worship or disrespects him, he will fall down from his position. Like that it is mentioned. So even for Vaishyas, devotion to Devatas, Guru, and Vishnu is the first quality is mentioned. And then Trivarga Pariposhanam, they Dharma, the Kamas, they encourage, they produce all the grains and everything, and all the necessities, economic necessities, they will maintain. So in if we see, there is particular mentality for each of these categories. So Brahmana, it is said that he is more concerned about truth. Hmm. What is truth? That he will see. Kshatriya, in general, he is more concerned about justice. What will give real justice to this situation, like that. And Vaishya, he is more concerned is productivity. How more and more can be productivity, like that. So here Trivarga Pariposhanam, Dharma, Artha, Kama, he encourages. And Astikyam, he has faith in the Vedas, Kshatriya, Vaishyas. And Udyamo Nityam, he constantly endeavors to produce some things, to like he is the one who kind of generates all the uh, things in this world, right? Sometimes there may be some conflict between Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, right? So like Vaishya's mentality is to produce in abundance. They will see what will produce, and but Kshatriya's mentality is that what is appropriate, what is justice. So there may be some, like there is little difference in approaching some things, right? Some devotee was mentioning when Russia, when the communists they have overtaken, or communists are basically they are like kind of Vaishya mentality, that productivity. So when they have overtaken the like government position, because generally the administration ruling should be done by Kshatriyas, but the Vaishya mentality is to produce more. When they take that control, there is some, like they cannot like when they take control they cannot rightly judge, and the reverse way also, like Kshatriyas they see equally, and if they can take control of productivity, then the productivity will not be abundant. Because their mentality is different and Vaishya's mentality is different. So like that one devotee was mentioning. Right? So Naipunyam, Udyamo Nityam, they constantly endeavor. Mm. And Naipunyam, skills also they will develop. So these are all the different symptoms of Vaishyas. Then Shudra definitions are mentioned. Shudrasya Sannati Saucham Seva Swamini Amayaya Amantrayajno hi Asteyam Satyam Govipra Rakshanam. Shudrasya Sannati Shaucham. They are offering respects to all the higher classes. Shaucham, cleanliness. Shudra is also need to have cleanliness. Shaucham is mentioned. And then Seva Swamini Amayaya, like serving the service to one's master. So that is one without duplicity, Amayaya. That is mentioned for Shudras. And Amantra Yajno, he can perform sacrifices without uttering mantras. That is also there for Shudras. And then especially Asteyam is mentioned, not stealing. So Prabhupada comments upon that Asteyam. So Prabhupada says, uh, it is everyone's experience that workers or servants are generally accustomed to stealing. A first class servant is one who doesn't steal. So in this way he's saying. Then for regarding cleanliness, he says, here it is recommended that a first class Shudra must remain very clean, must not steal or speak lies, and must always render service to his master. A Shudra may attend sacrifice and Vedic ritualistic ceremonies along with his master, but he should not utter the mantras, for these may be uttered only by the members of the higher sections of society. Unless one is completely pure and has been raised to the standard of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, in other words, unless one is a Dvija, twice born, the chanting of mantras will not be fruitful. So, in this way, like Prabhupada is saying that this in this way, Shudras should, like Shudras are also, if you see the qualities, cleanliness, freedom from duplicity, service to masters, performing, like not stealing, speaking the truth. Asteyam, Satyam. Satyam is also again given for Shudras also. Satyam is mentioned for Brahmanas, and then Kshatriya. That means these are all like common principles which are there. Go Vipra Rakshanam, and giving protection to, that means protection to cows, Brahmanas, right? I mean serving them in that sense. So these are the different qualities for a Shudra. So these four categories and their different qualities he has given these mentions, and by following this and worshipping the Lord, all the Varnashrama, they progress towards the bhakti, they progress towards in their spiritual life. That's what Krishna also said in Gita, by I will narrate you, by following which they can also attain perfection, by following all these duties and dedicating all these results to Krishna lovingly, they will also progress. They will progress in bhakti and attain their perfection. So that way, Krishna concludes that section in Gita also. So in this way, we have discussed these qualities of different personal, different varnas which are mentioned here. So I'll stop here. Smita, you have some question.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhu, so much for the class. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Um, this is a very hot topic, Varnashram. I have a few questions, and you can choose to answer some of them, all of them. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Chatu Varnyamaya Shishtam, and of course you quoted Narad Muni in the 7th canto, how one should be judged according to the symptoms and not by birth. So my question was, during the time of Mahabharata, was the Varnashram system corrupted? Because we see that even though Mahatma Vidura had so many good qualities, still he was always kind of designated by his birth from a Shudrani. And so my question for that one is, was it corrupted at that time? Then what is what is the importance of birth in determining one's Varna? Because if we don't follow some skaras, then ascertainment of Varna is also very difficult, especially in Kali Yuga, because we're such a mixed bag. We don't follow any samskaras, so it's very difficult. I'm sorry, I'm kind of putting all the questions, and you can choose to answer what you want. Also, Prabhupada said, I mean, in our sampradaya, basically, Varnashram is rejected. In the conversation between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy, Lord Chaitanya said, this is Bahi, this is external, go further. So we have a very contradictory statements from the acharyas on the topic of Varnashram, and yet Prabhupada said 50% of my work is not finished, and we seem to follow more of the ashrams in our society in ISKCON, not so much the Varnas.
Mhm.
We're also, there's Brahmins by Diksha in ISKCON, but then we might not necessarily be Brahmins by qualification. And towards the end of his pastimes, towards the end of Prabhupada's stay on this planet, he questioned, the conversations that happened in Mayapur towards the end, the morning walks. He said, "Well, why are they falling?" In the sense that, like, why should everyone be given Brahman Diksha? I have tons of other questions, but please, whatever you want to answer is fine with me. Thank you.
Okay. So these are all like our. This is like all the all the devotees in our movement. They're all struggling. Means they're all thinking over all these questions over many times, and these are like ongoing, and maybe they are upgraded or something. So exact. So these natures of these they are left little difficult for uh, to dwell on all these topics. Maybe some I have very limited understanding. Maybe a little bit. I will try. I will see. So Vidura, like the quality in the Mahabharata time at that time. So generally here. When Narada Muni, this understanding is that based on one's qualities, one should be given respect. So Vidura, if you see, like the proper persons, they gave respect. Like Yudhishthir Maharaj always respected Vidura as a Brahmana, and he always took guidance from Vidura. But the other persons like Duryodhana, sometimes they have insulted. So that means there also we can see that, I mean, little bit the and all others, Krishna and others, Draupadi, everyone respected Vidura as a great person and Brahmana as a Brahmana. So they treated in that way. But some people like others they have treated. So it can be like people at that time also that mentality of that is there. So based on their perception, they are kind of seeing that can be there. So and then then the quality is how much a birth and this determines. So generally, like whatever may be the birth, generally the SCL Lakshanam Proktam is mentioned. So generally, as you mentioned, there are no samskaras in Kali Yuga, and then no one can ascertain. But only by seeing the qualities, only one can ascertain. So, and especially Prabhupada always quotes that by Vaishnava Diksha, by following that, one can gradually elevate their qualities. So, like that, he kind of mentions Diksha Vidanena, like that. So, then further questions like practically developing the qualities. So, and then Varnashrama rejection. So, in general, the principle of Varnashrama, like unless one develops full faith in Sharanagati, till that time one has to follow Varnashrama. Mm. So the Shraddha means Shraddha is equivalent to Sharanagati, the Supreme Lord. So unless he has developed that faith, till that time one has to follow that Varnashrama duties and develops his Shraddha. So but the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he's rejecting that Varnashrama, that means people who have developed that Shraddha or Sharanagati to the Lord, they can reject Varnashrama. So that is means the principle of Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Mashucha. So Shraddha, if someone has Shraddha on that level, Sharanagati, Krishna, if I Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe, Sudruda Vishchay, Krishna Karma Kaile Kruta Sarva Hai. If he had developed that faith that if I perform this Krishna karma, everything else will be taken care. So that person can reject Varnashrama. But till that point, one has to perform this Varnashrama and then develop his Shraddha. So, yeah, that is what my understanding little bit. So then, yeah. So and yes, we need to develop these qualities as mentioned by Prabhupada. These are all not only to be read, but we need to inculcate. Yes. Yes, Proji, you have something.
No, we also are said that in this age, everyone is born as Shudra. Huh? And then whatever faith we develop and we rise above. So, but still Prabhupada wanted Varnashram. So, the way things are going on, all are born as Shudra, association of devotees, then you rise above, you develop all these samskaras, these qualities. So, why is it? I mean, is there in the future we are going to see anything like that? At least we are not seeing anything like that. And it's very difficult, as she said, to know a person's varna. It's very difficult. We don't know where is the origin of that varna, past life, or this. So, my question is that why Prabhupada still insisted that 50% of my, what are we going to see in the future varnashrama? At least, at least not seen, at least. And either any type of a sign of, we are working on that.
Okay. As right, I was just seeing there are like two levels of adhikar, right? One is having shraddha. If someone has developed shraddha, he can practice bhakti. Bhakti, which is nirguna bhakti, right? Krishna, like the process of 99 process of devotional services. But if he is not lacking that Shraddha, then he has to develop that Shraddha. The platform to develop that Shraddha is Varnashrama, where he continues to practice that Varnashrama and dedicate his work towards the Lord, and by that his Shraddha will develop to practice that Bhakti. So maybe to develop that Bhakti, this like everyone immediately will not develop that Shraddha of there is a gradual process, right? People will come in touch with devotees. They may develop little faith in general process of bhakti, and they little take up their things. But the complete sharanagati to like just surrender to the Lord, to develop that shraddha, one has to uh, raise their level of faith. So that will come by practicing this varnashram dharma and dedicating their results and then developing that bhakti. So that is like base platform by which to develop that faith of Sharanagati. And if someone develops that, then they can practice that. That's maybe that's where this Varnashrama is coming in. Yes, bro.
I was thinking about it's not by birth, but then there's birth does matter. Like if you're born in a Vaishnava family and you're raised, in Krishna consciousness, there's a good chance you'll it's the Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam has been in
Yes, Prabhupada gives, I think, this analogy, right? If a person is born in a doctor family, he is not a doctor by birth, but he has a
And
chance.
that one pastime where in the first temple in ISKCON was Kolkata in India, the first temple in India. And it was all Westerners. There wasn't any Indians. And the Westerners complained to Prabhupada about the Indians. He said, oh, the Indians, they don't know how to use a trash can. They don't know how to drive properly. They don't know how to wait in line, this and that. And Prabhupada said, yes, they're running away from Krishna. They're this far from Krishna and they're running away. And you are this far from Krishna and you're running towards him. And he said, all you have to do is get them to turn around, and they're much closer to Krishna than you. So, in other words, it matters birth because, but it's not the ultimate, saying that it's the ultimate deciding factor. So, because I also, he probably wanted us, the Westerners, to come to India so they could learn culture. And so it seems to me that, I know I'm haunted by my birth. For me, I'm constantly struggling with my upbringing and what type of, impressions there are from my, upbringing. And so I have solid realization of what, negative things are in your consciousness from the way you were born and the way you raised up. But of course, if one takes to Krishna consciousness with heart and soul, then one can rise above all these things, so to speak. Also, one more thing I want to say about the all the of the four